Honourable Winston Peters.
Mr Speaker, it's a privilege to be back as a Member of Parliament for Northland. 5 weeks ago, the PM said we would not stand. Then he said, when we did, we had zero chance of winning. And then some of my media friends said it was a joke and a stunt. Some have had the good grace, of course, to recant since then. So let's start with an olive branch to Mr Key and the government. If their RMA reforms are in the interests of New Zealand's growth and environment and the hard-working people who make up our brilliant primary industries and the forgotten regions, then we will in New Zealand First give them serious consideration. The problem is that they have never, not once, had the decency to call us, despite their Michelle Bogue's deplorable attempt on Q&A to say otherwise. So we warn them, if these reforms stoke the Auckland property bubble that is keeping interest rates high, and with it the New Zealand dollar, a dollar that is crucifying our productive sector, being close to parity with the Aussie, at record highs against the euro, 8-year highs against the yen, and stuck in the high 70-cent range against the greenback, then Mrs Key and Smith and et al., we will not and we cannot help you. Last Saturday, Northerners went up to this government's Flagstaff and chopped it down. In doing so, they sent a message on behalf of Southland, the West Coast, Marlborough, Whanganui, Manawatu, Wairarapa, Hawke's Bay, Gisborne, Bay of Plenty and Waikato and elsewhere. That message is this: it's the economy, stupid, not a two-tiered economy. It's not all about Auckland. New Zealand excels when our regions excel, but if they are treated like second-class citizens, despite generating this country's wealth, they are going to rebel. Look at Northland's neglect, the lowest median income in New Zealand. Over 778 one-lane bridges, 1,100 kilometres of unsealed roads in Kaipara, with 70% of the roads in the far north unsealed, and people who complain threatened by bully boy national MPs. A rail line that is so bad that it almost takes 5 hours to shift goods south to Auckland, a place where you can forget 4G because a simple cell phone call is itself a trial. While billions of dollars are being poured into the commuter rail in Auckland and Wellington, this government cannot spare $6 million to fix the Napier to Gisborne line or to join the North Line with Marsden Point. What this says about the regions in this government's priorities isn't lost on them. While we know about Northland's bridges, the West Coast has over 49 of them on state highways, and yes, we're asked the district councils how many are classed as local roads. Don't shout here like Maggie Barry did at our meeting in Dargaville in the Methodist Church. She came up, she was shouting, she had to be stopped by the chairman and all the crowds. There she was, like all of the National Party, and I said to them, look, Maggie, we can paste unity in the House. Don't come up here where we're loved and expect you to be getting a decent audience. She got told off by everybody, including the chairperson, and she was there on a ministerial car, all the wasted taxpayers' money, all these other ministers, backbenchers, making phone calls, putting up hoardings. And when I saw them putting up hoardings, I thought to myself, you guys are finished. You guys are finished. When I see hard-working men like Alfred Ndaro, and I see Mr Mitchell next door putting up hoardings, I know the National Party has collapsed up north. Look, we asked the good people up there to send a message, and boy, they did. And now we've got the National Party in so many days, just 4 days later, can't remember. The message, Jerry, is it's overtime for you. The message, Mr Brownlee, is they've had enough of your neglect. They've had enough of your arrogance. They've had enough of being forgotten. They've had enough of being marginalised, Cinderella-ised and forgotten. And they're going to make sure, not just in Northland, that around this country, those hundreds of thousands of people who create our wealth get a fair go in New Zealand's political and economic future. They can't wait for the next election. You know something? Nor can I. Nor can I. Mr Key was asked all those questions yesterday, today, and it may as well have been, as they say in the IT industry, vaporware. Our message to rural and provincial New Zealand is this: help's on its way. Help's on its way. I know that the National Party has tens of thousands of members, maybe hundreds of thousands, who are now also very pleased to see that we're back.
Members, time has expired. Order, order. Point of order, Ron Mark.
Really waited for this point of order not to interrupt the speech.
Can I have the point of order?
The point of order is this, Mr. Speaker, and I'm looking to you to protect the House and the opposition. There is a standing order that states that members cannot move from their own seat to another seat to better interject and break up another member's speech.
Order.
And you sat there and you did not deal with Mr. Brownlee.
Order. I would have thought the member's right. If a member had moved, I hadn't noticed it, so it may have actually been helpful if the member on this occasion had raised the point of order when it happened. But I'm still on my feet. I don't think in any way it disrupted from the Right Honourable Winston. Order. Don't think it in any way disrupted from the performance by the Right Honourable Winston Peters. He was enjoying the interjections as much as most of the rest of the House. Order. I'll hear from Mr. Brownlee.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I just want to apologise to Right Honourable Winston Peters for interrupting his speech. I was merely trying to defend myself from the vicious attack that I'm subjected to.
Now, we will now return to the general debate. The Honourable Michael Woodhouse.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today is a very